Hi guys, today we're going to derive the quadratic formula using the completing square to come out of that. When we are using the completing square, we usually take c to the other side. So it's positive here. We are going to take it over here and it's going to be negative. So we have our ax squared plus bx equals to negative c. Now for us to apply the completing squares, the coefficient of the s square has to be 1. Here you have a, so we have to get rid of the a. It's multiplying, so we are going to apply the inverse operation, which the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by a. So here a, this is a different term and this is a different term. So we have to also divide this by a. And then we have to repeat the same thing on the left hand side. When we do that, this becomes 1. So we have x squared plus bs all over a equals to negative c over a. Here, we take the coefficient of the x here and we divide it by 2. So the coefficient of the x is b over a. And we divide it by 2 when we are completing the square root. So we divide it by 2. So now we have a fraction divided by a whole number. And what happened is that this we are going to keep, that's what we call the KCF, change the division and flip the denominator here. So we're going to keep, and this division will become multiplication, and we are going to flip this. And then we are getting b over 2a. Okay, this b over 2a is going to be so crucial, so we will come back to that. And after we do that, for us to complete the square, what do? We square the b over 2a. So we're going to square b over 2a all squared. So when we square that, we get b squared, and this squared is going to affect this, so it's going to be 4, and it's going to affect this, so it's going to be a squared. Okay, so after that, what is happening is that we have to add this to this side and add the same thing to the right hand side. But remember from our previous lesson on completing squares, we realized that this, when we divide the coefficient of the x by 2, that's the number that usually comes here. So here, since this is positive, it's just plus b over 2a. And it's going to be all squared. Because when we add this 1 to this side, it's going to make it a perfect trinomial. And that is how it's going to look like. Now, the right hand side, we are going to add this to the right hand side. So here we are having negative c over a, and we are adding this to that side, which is b squared over 4a squared. Now here we have a fraction adding to a fraction. So we look for common denominator. We have a here and we have 4a here. So realize that we have a, so we can an a square here, so and 4, so we can write 4 and the a square because that a can come over here. So we look at here and realize that a comes here and then leaving out 4a. So that leaving out of the 4a, we multiply it to the numerator here, which is negative c, and that is the one that we have to write here. So we're going to get negative 4ac. You bring your operation sign, which is plus. Now we look at here, compare it to this denominator, and it's 4a squared, 4a squared. So that means it goes in there 1. That one we multiplied up here, and we got b squared. We rewrite this side. Squared and bring your equal sign. Now we have to get to the x, but we have, before we can get to that, we have to take care of the squared. The inverse operation for squared is a square root, so we're going to take square root on both sides. So square root here, and then square root here. So when we take a square root, this goes away. We rewrite x plus b over 2a equals to square root of negative 4ac plus square root of plus b squared. We rewrite that. So we are splitting it. I'm going to write the positive first. So let me write the b squared first because addition is commutative, and then minus the 4ac. We square this. Square root of 4 is 2, and when we square a square, we get a. Now we want to solve for x. It's added by b over 2a, so we have to bring it over here. By any time we take a square root, we have to add our plus or minus in front here. So now we're bringing this over here. Is addition. When it comes here, it's going to be minus. So minus 2 minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. We realize that all of them have the same denominator, so we can bring all of them together. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus. I'm going to bring all of them under the same 2a. Then we write this b squared minus 4ac, and we are done. So we have able to use a completing square to derive the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula came out of the completing square.